Uh, there's a big festival that happens the weekend of Erica's birthday in Madison every year called the Fête des Marquettes. So it's like a French themed festival,
Mm.
and they bring in like world renowned artists, like really good like DJs and like there. It's not like DJ Khaled and is not gonna be there. Like Ariana Grande's not going to this shit, but like you're gonna get like really good artists. Like this one time the best place to be is the EDM tent. That's where I'm at the whole time. That's the fucking spot. But this one year they had a French like technotronic group that was there, and it was sick. They just brought the house down, man. So, and there's supposed to be some DJ that is like a big deal. He's gonna be there this year, so be a good time. And I would take the car for that weekend. Have a sweet BMW ride. It'd be fun.
Mm.
Oh,
That's
crap.
that's a good touch.
Yeah.
That's a
So
good touch.
I've got that a few times. Like last year, when we went up to the Green Bay versus the Rams game. I had a 2019 M5 that sounded like a rocket. It was pretty sweet. 617 horsepower. It was a beast of a car. But so it's always fun to win one when you got plans that month that you're going to be doing something. So
Yep.
that's all it is. And then money.
It's true. Like having something on the calendar that far away makes every day better.
Yeah,
It
100%.
does. It does.
But I've been in a groove lately with selling cars. I have kind of, it's
What? It turns out you're good at whatever you decide to do. It's crazy.
usually am once I get enough
Wild.
time going with it.
Wild.
Yeah,
Could
but
have seen it coming.
yeah,
Not me. Mm-mm.
yeah. Well,
No, sir.
I appreciate the vote of confidence there, sir. But
It's just been my lived experience being a person that knows you.
yeah, well, I'll take the compliment. But anyway, no, before you guys got on, I was looking up Green Bay tickets this year. Who I want to go see them play. Thinking maybe Lions versus the Lions at Lambeau would be fun. Yeah, it'd be a fun game.
Yeah, that would be
Totally rad.
so much fun.
They're
So much
playing
hype.
yeah,
Dude,
and then
Samson Laporticus is gonna score 3 touchdowns that game. You're gonna hate him. You're
I
gonna hate
don't
him.
know, dude. I think
You're gonna hate him.
I like the way the defense is set up, looking at some of his PFF metrics and things like that.
You
And
said
getting
that
better
last year too about your number 15 Packers defense.
No, I had no confidence in the middle of that
You
line.
did. It's
It was
on the
very
internet.
clear. It was very clear that I had no confidence against the run.
No,
Okay.
we don't get
Sad.
to claim that now, dude.
It was said.
That was not any different than the way you sounded last year doing
We
it.
were one of the best teams against the pass last year. Look it
Oh,
up.
there he is. There he is. There he is.
Unbelievable.
Right back to that.
Unbelievable.
And I don't know. I think I got high hopes for him this year. I think we're a playoff team this year. I didn't think we were last year, but we made it. We
You're
beat
gonna
you
be
our ass, so
you're gonna be third in your division.
not a chance. We're second, maybe, but we're not third. No chance. We're not
Wrong
gonna.
You heard it here
division for the
first.
episode.
Yeah, we're not gonna
Heard it here
lose
first.
to two rookie
Or
quarterbacks.
you heard it here third. Boom.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Should we just go right into it, guys? Ready to go?
Yeah.
So
I'm jazzed. Hold on, I think I got a little bit more of me here. There we go. Let's get this.
AFC North Side Edition, by PFF's metric, the most competitive division in football this year. Was doing a little research today. I would tend to agree with him on that. You have four teams. You have one I think that clearly lags behind the other three, but they got better in the offseason, and we're going to get into that. But yeah, a lot of superstars in this division. Old school, hit you in the mouth type football. That's what they're known for. But they can pile on the points too. So it's a fun division to talk about. If you
It's
didn't
a fun
know,
division to watch.
absolutely. If you don't know by now, what are you doing in our league? But as a reminder, Bengals, Browns, Ravens, and Steelers, folks. That's who we're talking about today. And if you didn't know that, I seriously doubt your ability to win a championship in our league. So you should know.
So we're talking about Trish. Got it. Okay.
Oh man.
But,
Singled out.
Fire and exercise, boys.
Fired squad. So the big debate is here, and I think this is actually a real debate. Who do you boys think is going to win this one? Because I think it's a two-team race, really.
I think it's a two-team race, and I think it's Baltimore.
Obviously, they're the favorites, right? But
which is
just
hard to say because Joe Burrow.
I mean, they're a contender every year. That man's healthy.
Mm-hmm.
That's how good he is. So I just don't think the Bengals have enough on defense, which is why I would favor the Ravens.
Derrick
Baltimore
Henry.
seems like they've been putting people in place for years to get this squad they got now too, and it was dominant at times last year.
And did they
What
sign,
they did on defense was starting to get scary.
did they sign one of the best running backs of all time in the offseason for no money? I think they
For
did.
nothing.
So
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they're going to be even better at offense.
Really feel like Dallas could have done that for their playoff run last year at any point.
Really could have.
You
Really
know?
could have.
Really feels like they could have done some stuff.
Probably would help this year rather than the corpse of Ezekiel Elliott in the backfield too. So
Yeah.
Though I do
you know,
feel better with Ezekiel Elliott in the backfield.
he's going to show up. He's going to
Yeah.
he's going to get it done. I don't think he's going to get it done like he used to.
No,
But
no,
you'll
no.
have
I
an
don't want
okay
I don't want
run
him a
game.
lot. I want him a little. He's good to have a little bit.
He should be your first down running back, and then we should see a lot of Rico Dowdle. That's what I think.
I think he's great on third down. I think he's fantastic on
Yeah,
third
I think
down.
he's a short downers back. I don't think he's a first down back at all anymore.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he's
I mean,
he's a late down guy. When you need that first down and you dump it off, all of a sudden he just knows.
When you're on the 1 yard line, you don't want Dak to throw a pick six. You give it to
Mhm.
Zeke and let him
Yeah.
bulldoze for a yard, hopefully.
So in the playoffs this year, we're running the ball 40 times if we're Dallas, so we don't get absolutely annihilated.
No, we're still going to throw it 45.
Yeah,
They'll play a
yeah.
couple
No,
of
we're
those
chucking that fucking
critical
rock.
plays, go a
CD
different
lives
direction.
on our team. CD lives on our.
Yeah.
We're at it. We're out of our element, Donnie.
Yeah. We're getting in the weeds. So are we in agreement?
So we claim Baltimore. Baltimore's
Yeah.
probably going to win.
I think so. So let's talk about them first, right?
Let's talk
Yep,
about the
yep,
Baltimore
yep.
Ravens.
A lot of goodness on this team. Some question marks too, and some fun stuff to talk about. I mean, I
They
don't
didn't
think
really do anything besides add Derrick Henry. Now, while that's a big move, they were pretty quiet outside of that. So you can tell they're probably just really confident in their squad moving forward, right? And
They
carrying
lost-
the same momentum they had last season.
They lost part of their O-line to the other Harbaugh brother, who seemingly took anybody he could from his brother's team and brought him over to LA, which is not,
Getting fucking
shocking.
scalped in the living room.
Yeah, I mean,
Jesus.
I think there was some discussions between brothers that were had there about
Mhm.
who we wanted as free agents. And then, and then the two running backs, they lost them, but bringing Derrick Henry, who's better than both of those guys will ever be combined. So,
100%.
Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson on a read option. I just can't wait to play Madden.
And the thing is, too, is you have a guy who can run triple option with two and Zay Flowers. So,
Yep.
there's so I mean, if we're starting from the top to give it some semblance of order, I mean, talk about the quarterback. You got to love Lamar Jackson. He's in the top 3 for me. It just depends on who you want. I always love a running quarterback in fantasy because he just provides such a baseline.
Well, not only that, but he's an MVP caliber running quarterback.
Yeah, and they're going to run with him again. He's run the ball every single year of his career, and he's done it successfully. He's one of the best running quarterbacks of all time. So, I mean, if it ain't broke,
maybe the all time.
He's the kind of talent that you can line up defensive knowing that you're going to run the ball with him, and he can still bust an 80-yard run on that play.
The only thing that he has to do to be the greatest running back of all time, or what I might call Michael Vick, is to just play for an amount of time that Michael Vick was not able to play.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I can think of is when you have teams like this that are so slanted into the run game, look at the storyline for the Baltimore Ravens. They lost their defensive coordinator. They lost Patrick Queen. They lost the starting safety. They lost Clowney. So if you start giving up more points, it forces your quarterback to have to throw it a little bit more too.
I think the biggest loss there is Patrick Queen, right? I mean, Clowney's old. They can replace him with some young talent. Clowney, in all due respect, Clowney played great for them. He showed up in a lot of
Clowney
games.
is a hell of a run stuffing defensive end. He creates an anchor on his side. It might not be the pass rush that you want in the NFL, but it's not a bad pass rush. You know what I mean? It's not like he's a bad pass rusher. He's just elite at other parts of the game.
There's also something to be said for veteran presidents that's been doing it a long time at schooling some of these young guys that they have because, they have Matt Abuike on that team in the inside. He's one of the best young D tackles in the league right now.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know who he is, you will know who he is because that guy's going to be a superstar. And he got paid all the money. So, he's being paid like a superstar too. So, I don't know. I think they're still going to be great on defense.
They have another giant nose tackle who's really young in there. And I know him best because I traded for him on Madden.
That's
Like
how
that
you
was
sometimes know.
that was the guy that anchored the middle of that line, and he is a giant.
Did they not also draft Nate Wiggins? Did Nate Wiggins out of Clemson go to Baltimore? Am I wrong in that, or did he go there?
We need confirmation. I don't
Yeah,
know.
He's a
he's
very
Baltimore.
talented, yeah,
Uh-huh.
very talented young corner. I wanted the Packers to take him so bad.
30th pick of the first round.
Yeah, so which is a steal for them. He honestly, to me, he should have went like 20th, 20 to 25, somewhere in there because he fell. If you watch that guy's film, it's great. But anyway, that's defense.
What's your projected record for the Baltimore Ravens? 13 and 4?
13 wins, I think.
13, yeah.
Yeah.
What did they get last year?
I think they were around there, 13, 14, something like that. They were pretty dominant last year.
Yep, 13 and 4.
Yep. So, I mean, obviously, Lamar's a no-brainer. If you want to take Lamar, I don't know, 4th or 5th round, if you're
Travis Jones. Travis Jones is who I was talking about.
Okay.
Sorry, that was driving me nuts. Travis Jones is a monster, and he's like, it's his second year.
Matabuike has only been in the league for 3-4 years too, I believe. So, they got young talent on the inside. But, I think where Lamar should go, you could make an argument that Lamar could be the QB1 if you wanted to. I mean, it's there between him and Josh Allen and Patty Mahomes. You know what I mean?
Well, Anthony Richardson too.
Anthony Richardson technically is number 5. I love Anthony Richardson. I don't think he's the number 1 or
if he stays healthy, he's the number 1.
I don't think so. I don't think he's got the chops as a passer yet. He's got a rocket.
Remember to clip
so
that,
big.
That's
he's
something.
So big.
I don't think there's any way that if he plays the full season,
he's the new Jalen Hurts.
He's going to be top 8 if he plays the whole season. I don't think he's going to finish 1 because he doesn't got the chops, and he doesn't have as much passing offense talent around him. Is the thing, but because they only got one guy really. They got Pittman. That's it. Yep. So, whereas in Baltimore, as a segue, again, Lamar Jackson to me, back of the 4th round, early 5th round. I think that's where he should go. I don't know if I'm paying that price.
Someone's going to take him in the 3rd.
Someone's absolutely going to take him in the 3rd.
Yep.
Yeah.
Probably
that person's
like
going to be
the
Luis.
9th pick of the 3rd.
That person's going to be Luis because he said so.
I mean, it's fun having Lamar on your team. I had him last year. It was great. So
it is fun as long as you're not thinking about the value you're missing out on. All right, so put them in order 1, 2, 3. Lamar Jackson, Richardson, C.J. Stroud.
Lamar's number 1.
Lamar.
Oh, and I'm going to put Stroud.
So you weren't serious about the Richardson.
Dude, Lamar is for me is a no-brainer. The 1 quarterback.
Okay.
I think Stroud and Richardson are very close.
I just won't pay for a quarterback at the spot that it would take to get Lamar.
Gotcha.
It's so deep at quarterback this year. There's so many guys in like you could wait until quarterback.
Lamar Jackson doesn't make it out of the 2nd round in our draft.
The idea of getting Justin Herbert at QB 14, it really does make it feel like it's a little bit deeper this year.
You could get Aaron Rodgers at QB 20. Okay, so I'm just saying, like there's guys.
Yeah,
there's a lot, and with the passing volume, if you end up picking the right guy and he ends up QB 10 and you waited on him that long, got everybody else, like you're gonna have a good team.
There's gonna most likely, in my opinion, be a 9th or 10th round quarterback drafted in our league that turns out to be that guy. Because like Caleb Williams probably not gonna get drafted until around that time, right? 9th, 10th round at the earliest.
You want to know who
no one's drafting Caleb Williams.
But just as an example, there's gonna be one of those young quarterbacks. What's up?
You want to know who it's gonna be?
Who's gonna be?
Jaden Daniels, top 10 quarterback.
Yeah, dude, you might be right.
Jaden Daniels, baby, let's go.
You might be right.
You might be
right about Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, dog. He's the one. He's the guy. I love Jaden Daniels. Anyway,
taking a flyer rookie quarterback. I love it. It feels good every year.
It's a fun ride.
Somewhere in the 11th round, you're like, yeah, I'll take that.
Damn right. I'm gonna be gunning for that, man. So there you go, folks. Go ahead and snipe me like y'all did last year. Anyway, I was sad. They took.
I was sad. I took Alexander Madison.
I had to take Alexander Madison, and I had James Cook and Pacheco just dropping right into my lap. And then Todd's like, Nah, dog. I know you love those guys, so suck on these nuts. And then I had Alexander Madison all up in my starting lineup.
You did, man.
But
You did,
anyway,
man. So that happens when you don't
uh,
draft a running back till the 5th round, though.
it worked out. We were in the championship. Were you guys?
Still have
You
never won it.
didn't win, so it didn't work out. Quit
Ever.
claiming
Was it
these
one of you in last place?
consolation prizes.
Was it one of you in last place? Did one
Your
of you lose
name is
Yeah,
not
and
on the
then-
trophy. You're the only
Yeah.
one in this podcast. His name isn't on the trophy.
I'm talking about what
that
you've done.
you had
for
to
me.
buy.
Finished higher than both y'all.
You
Anyway,
didn't
moving
win the
on.
league. You don't get to
Never won it.
brag about second
Never won it.
place.
No. You
Get
know
to
who
brag
brags about
about that
second place?
$100 I won.
Losers do. That's
Fucking
who.
losers.
Hey, dog.
I'm a
Anyway,
state qualifier. Put on
Derek-
a shirt.
I'm
Derrick
so
Henry.
close to being a champion.
Nerds.
Derrick
Fucking
Henry.
champions only here, boys.
Derrick Henry. Let's talk about Derrick Henry. God damn it.
Sure.
So Derrick Henry
Getting right.
is going criminally too low right now in best ball leagues. He's coming off the board at number 9, which is crazy to me. Yeah, he's old. He's one of the most freakishly large running backs that has been able to stay durable his entire career. I don't
Yeah,
see
but-
any reason why he can't do that in Baltimore.
But not just old. He's the age, the famous age that people give up on running backs, which is 30.
Yep. But it's Derrick Henry. He's a different
Yeah,
guy.
it's Derrick Henry, and it's just the opportunities he's going to have because he shares the backfield with Lamar Jackson.
Yep.
Like, the math is just too good.
Yep. I'm
Yeah,
taking
the
that chance.
matchup is something.
Taking that chance.
Same. You got to
You,
fight
you
me
ta-
for it.
if you take him, any chance you take him with the 12th pick of the first round, or is that too early for you?
That's too early. Because in the first round, you got to remember you got CMC, Bijan, Brees Hall, all of whom should go ahead of Derrick Henry. Jonathan Taylor, I think you could probably put in front of him too. To me,
I don't think I am.
he's the 5th guy. But you also have Saquon there. Are you going to take Derrick
I'd probably
Henry
take
in front of
Saquon.
So
I probably would take Saquon before.
there's an
Henry.
argument he should go anywhere 5 through 7. I think.
What the one that's tricky for me, because that range is kind of clouded with people. You got ETN, you got Kyron Williams, Achane, Derrick Henry. It's Kyron Williams is the one that I'd be conflicted about. If those two
Yeah.
are sitting there, the next one, I got no idea which one to pick because
I don't like thinking that I'm not getting either, but I think Derrick Henry there.
I don't want any piece of Kyron or Devon Achane in the first 2 rounds. Too high of a price tag. And there's
I
other
feel the
guys.
same way about Achane. But
I
Kyron
don't.
Williams,
I think
what's your
I think
argument?
I think Achane could win a league.
Okay.
The reason why I don't want them is because they're 2 guys that have only proved it sparingly. Now, granted, they proved it massively. However, these other guys that we're talking about are proven running backs who've done it year over year and don't necessarily have contention around them for another guy to take carries. All those other guys are workhorse running backs that are going to get the ball 20 times a game. Achane, he's explosive, but he got injured last year. They brought in another guy just like him, Jalen Wright. That's a 4.4 speed guy. They got Raheem Mostert still there. If I want a piece of that offense, I'm taking Raheem Mostert, man, because you can get him in the 6th, 7th round. Raheem Mostert's going RB28. I'm taking Raheem Mostert at the opportunity cost versus taking Achane. When I know Mostert's getting the ball too, Mostert's probably still the starting running back. So you're taking the number 2 running back on the team on the depth chart, okay, at RB7. I don't like it.
I agree with you on Achane. I don't feel that way about Kyron Williams.
He's the RB1, but they brought in Blake Corum, who is the same guy. They're the same guy, like literally in what they do, their skill set, everything. They brought him in because Kyron got injured last year. So again, I believe in these other guys more than I believe that Kyron's just going to lock down that spot and that he's owed all this allegiance from Sean McVay. When you've seen Sean McVay be like, "Oh, you're not performing? Blake Corum, here you go. Here's 30 carries this week." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
so you'd
why.
rather to tie it back into Henry, you'd rather have Henry than ETN and a half PPR?
ETN, they've been talking all offseason how they're going to reduce his workload because they're worried they're going to burn him up. So they're going to get Tank Bigsby involved. But then Tank Bigsby didn't have a good offseason. So I don't know.
No,
It's out there, I
I
don't
saw
like it.
reports that said that Tank Bigsby might not even be in every game starting lineup running back.
That's what came out of camp. But before that, they were talking they wanted Bigsby to become the number 2 in the goal line back. So I don't know what they're going to do. It's up in the air.
Something
You
to
know?
watch.
Yeah. So all those questions around those 3 guys make me look at Derrick Henry and be like, Derrick Henry getting the ball. So I want
Derrick Henry getting the ball.
You know,
Derrick Henry getting the ball.
You're
yeah,
making a pretty good
Yeah.
case.
yeah. So that's why I feel that way about those guys. But
All right, let's wrap it on Baltimore and move on, huh?
we didn't talk about the receivers at all, dude. Come
Haven't.
on, man.
All right, well, let's speed it up.
Or possibly the best tight end.
I don't think he's the best tight end anymore.
I don't think he is either, but you gotta like include him in a name of in like a list of 5, don't you?
I think he's number 4 right now. I put Kelsey, McBride, and Laporta ahead of him now. Trey McBride's going to get a lot of targets this year. Remember that name. People don't know him in our league either. He's going to be a steal in the draft. Did you look at what he did in Arizona when Kyler Murray came back last year, man? That man went lights out.
What did he do?
He had probably, I think he was the top 2 PFF rating, and he scored all kind of touchdowns in the back half of the year. Nobody watched it because Arizona sucked. But
Arizona did suck.
Tearing it apart. He's an athletic freak. Go back and watch some tape of that guy running routes and catching passes in the end zone. He's a monster. He's going to be one of the best tight ends for years to come.
Yeah, but he's on a team that finished the season 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1-8 last year.
All right, so let me ask you. We're getting in the weeds again, but we're talking about tight ends. We're talking about where Mark Andrews should go. So that's why we're having this discussion. But if let's say Kyler Murray stays healthy for once for an entire year, okay? Let's just assume he's healthy the entire year. Who's getting the ball in that offense? You got 2 guys.
Harrison.
You got Marvin Harrison and Trey McBride. He's the number 2 wide receiver on, whatever. The number 2 wide receiver on his team, okay? Trey McBride. I'm putting him in front of Mark Andrews.
Okay.
Because Mark Andrews could end up being the 3 on his team in terms of options, you know?
Yeah.
But I don't know. You could take him in front of Trey McBride. I get it. But
I'm going to take him in front of Trey McBride.
There's other guys. Dalton Kincaid is going to have a great
I'm probably not spending money on a tight end that early. So regardless, I'm probably not getting Mark Andrews.
Yeah. So, Mark Andrews, I think he goes 3rd or 4th off the board. At least I'm putting Laporta and Kelsey in front of him. But, so the real price for him should be the 5th or 6th round. I think he's going to go sooner than that. So he probably won't be on my team this year. Broke my heart last year. So can't do it again this year, Mark. Sorry, bud.
Can't do it.
But
that receiving room.
Yeah. Zay Flowers, obviously, is the guy.
How high?
He's not a touchdown guy. That's my only problem.
How high?
He doesn't catch touchdowns. I would love Zay as
4th round tops.
Yep. 2nd wide receiver on my team. 2nd or 3rd, depending on how I structure it.
I feel like I'm probably reaching a little bit if I take him in the 4th, but if it's late 4th, I feel pretty good about it.
4 feels high.
Pretty okay.
Feels high.
Zay is like the wide receiver coming off the board. He's like between 20 and 24.
I think it depends. If I go the way I usually draft and I pick 2 running backs my first 2 rounds, and maybe a quarterback or a tight end in the 3rd, I'm not picking Zay there as my number 1 wide receiver.
There's one guy in the wide receiver room I think we got to talk about too, because I'm very excited about him and I think he's getting slept on. Is Tez Walker, Devontae Walker. Huge, crazy athletic ability, can jump out of the stadium. 6'1", I think he's like 200 pounds maybe, or close to it, like 190, 195. Big dude. He's going to be their down the field threat. Okay. I like me some Tez Walker as a dart throw super late in the draft because I think he could easily beat out the corpse of Rashad Bateman for the wide receiver 2 on that team.
The corpse of Rashad Bateman.
He's just been injured so much, man. He was fun while it lasted, but I think it's done for Mr.
It didn't last.
No, he had 1 good year, and then he got hurt a lot.
That was his rookie year.
Yeah, I know. I think he's a talented guy. He played great in Minnesota. He just had unfortunate injuries.
He's a swell dude. Just not drafting him.
No. I'm going Tez Walker over Rashad B all day. Because he's got to beat – all that guy's got to do is beat out Rashad Bateman and Nelson Aguilar. Okay? That's not a lot to beat out to get on the field.
That's really
I like that. I think that pretty much does it, though. A lot of good options in Baltimore. Guys that are going to be taking.
Don't have to talk about Justin Tucker.
Thank God. Get him out of here. Best kicker ever. And he not getting drafted in our league. See
It's
you
still
later.
not good enough to make a fantasy football roster.
That's
The
right.
best league there is.
Yeah, dude.
No kickers.
Fuck out of here with them kickers. So number 2, are we all saying Bengals? Because
I think we ought to though.
I think it's the wise.
I
It's the
like
money pick.
Cleveland, but I think Cincinnati has to be because of quarterback. Because of quarterback.
You can't depend on Deshaun Watson at this point. Let's be real.
Can't do it.
No. All their success came on the back of Mr. Sleepy Flacco at the end of the year. So, anyway, the Joe Burrow Bengals, love me some Joe Burrow this year. If you wait on quarterback and he ends up sliding down a little bit because everybody's hot on the running quarterbacks, which is not really how our league goes. People know Joe Burrow. People like Joe Burrow. I don't think he's going to fall in our draft. But if Joe Burrow can stay healthy, I think he's easily going to finish at least at his ADP in the ranking, which is like 7 or 8 is about where he's at right now. And I think he could easily get in the top 5 if he has a prolific year like he's done before, you know.
Joe Burrow is one of those quarterbacks got massive upside.
Yeah, and so I mean, if he goes as the QB8, that's like a 7th round pick. You know what I mean? If you get Joe Burrow in the 7th round, I think that's a steal. You got your rest of your lineup set, and you slide Joe Burrow in there. Maybe you get a stack with Jamar Chase.
I think the odds of that happening are probably very slim in our league, though, right? I think there's going to be a QB run around those middle quarterbacks around 6, 7, 8. We were talking about all muddied in there, and everybody's going to go, "Ooh, better get one of them while they're still there." And
we do have a league that is heavily influenced because we live draft, and it's heavily influenced by the talk in the room and the runs.
As it should be.
It should be. It's fun. I love it.
Yeah, it is.
Love it.
That's why the draft day is the best day of the whole league.
It is. It's a good time. I'm looking forward to it. But 2 months away, by the way. So we talk about Joe Burrow. Obviously, the next one up is let's talk about the running backs. Save the goodies for last. But you got Zach Moss, and interesting situation in the backfield in Cincinnati because you have a guy that showed out last year, but before that was considered a bum. So I don't know what we're gonna get with Zach Moss. I think to me, he's the Alexander Madison of the league this year.
I don't feel that way. I think Zach Moss is going to be a valuable little pickup.
Zach Moss did some dirty things last year when he came in for Jonathan Taylor. They were so nasty. They worked him in when Taylor came back.
Let me ask you, though, do you think that was a product of the situation and the volume that he got because they had nobody else? Because that's not the situation in Cincinnati. They like to throw the ball.
Because I saw the film that he wasn't just getting volume. He was making plays.
He was. He played great last year.
And I think him not needing to be a big part of an offense is great for his skill set. I think he can be super efficient, dude.
Can he do it for a whole year, though? Because we've seen Alexander Madison go nuts for 3 weeks, too, and then suck as a full-time
I've never seen Alexander Madison go nuts for 3
Oh,
weeks.
He absolutely has.
Name it.
When he filled in for Dalvin Cook, there was many weeks where he went crazy.
3 weeks of Allen.
I think Zach
Absolutely
Moss
happened.
will win. Zach Moss will get drafted somewhere in the mid to late rounds, and he'll probably win somebody a couple weeks, but he probably won't do a whole lot outside of that. That's where I got him at.
I want him mid to late rounds.
You know who I'm intrigued by rather than Zach Moss? Because I don't really want Zach Moss. He's like a depth piece to me. I don't really want him in my starting lineup much. But flex spot. Chase Brown. Chase Brown, the number 2. Great pass catching back. If you weren't paying attention last year, he flashed a little bit towards the end of the season. Had a game where he had 80 yards receiving, I think 30 on the ground. He showed in college that he can carry a first, a workhorse role. Brett Bielema, his last year in college, he played for Illinois. His last year in college, the last like 3-4 games of that year, the guy had like 30 touches a game. It was going nuts. He ran for like 250 on Wisconsin, like tore the heart out of our defense. Like he was going nuts in the Big Ten.
Are you talking about Chase Brown still? Or
Chase Brown. Because I like Chase Brown in the back of the draft because anything happens to Zach Moss, who to me has not completely cemented you workhorse running back role in the NFL by no means to me. He had a terrible start to his career, did it for a period while Taylor was out. If that guy is not doing it for 3 weeks, you could see Chase Brown come in and you could find yourself a league winner with a guy like that.
Yeah,
That's how you
but
find him.
that's gotta be your last round pick though, right? Because
I
I don't
feel
know
like
if he's
I
struggling
feel
with
like
an
they're
injury,
splitting.
but I'm just looking at his stat log for last year, and he come like his last 7 weeks of the season, he combined for 2 carries for 6 yards and 3 catches for
Right.
about 9 yards, and he only missed one of those games.
Who are you talking about, Zach Moss or Chase Brown?
Chase Brown.
Yeah. There's a period there where Joe Mixon was a little banged up though, and he got an opportunity and he did well with it. That's my
Mm.
point.
Okay.
So and I like the talent. He was a rookie last year, and you got Joe Mixon, who has been doing it in Cincinnati forever. So
Sure.
anyway, just keep your eyes on him. I like
Mm.
Chase Brown. But let's talk about some wide receivers.
Let's talk about some wide
Because
receivers.
that's the exciting part of this team, right?
Yeah,
Especially from
of
a
course.
fantasy perspective.
Now we know T. Higgins is staying in Cincinnati. Fuck you, Cody. Listen to me and Jake. Sign that money. Let's go, baby. Let's get some T. Higgins.
What did he get paid?
It's like 22 mil for the franchise tender.
He signed the tag?
Signed it. Done.
Nice. Good paycheck, baby. Now he gets another one next year. I love that.
Fully guaranteed.
I'm glad he did. I'm glad he did because
21.8 mil.
man, someone's got to beat Kansas City.
And the Bengals the only ones seem to be able to do it. So
It does. It does seem like
you
it's
know,
the Bengals.
Joe Burrow's got that man.
They're not the best in their division, but they're the ones that can beat Kansas City.
They are. And the AFC.
And it's Joe Burrow, isn't it? There's something special about that man.
Joe Cool, man.
Man. He rises to the occasion. Like the other superstars in the league, like Patty Mahomes does. Joe Burrow does that too.
He does.
So let's talk about him some more then. Where were you drafting T. Higgins at? Where's it going for you?
Well, let's talk about Jamar Chase first because he's more fun, and then we'll talk about T. Higgins.
Well, yeah, but everybody knows where Jamar Chase is going.
I think he's going before Jefferson this year. I think he should.
Oh,
just because of the rookie quarterback? Is that your argument?
Absolutely.
Good argument. It's a good
100%.
argument.
That's why
But it's JJ. He's every year that he's healthy. I know it was Cousins, and Cousins is a pretty good quarterback, but he's breaking records every year.
It's gonna be JJ to JJ. How do you ignore
that? JJ is not ready for the NFL yet. I don't care what happened.
JJ's going to come in with some swagger like Joe Cool did, and if he can get some momentum going, I wouldn't be surprised if he did.
And where do you think that momentum goes?
He's nowhere near the quarterback that Joe Burrow was in his last season at LSU, and it ain't even close.
That's accurate. I think that's true.
It's not even close.
I think that's very true.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, I don't think he's ready yet. I think he could have a good NFL career. I think what you're going to see is a lot more inconsistency and a frustrated Mr. Jefferson for a period of time this year.
So where's Jamar going?
Give me your top 5 wide receivers then in order, because you know Jamar's in the top 5, right?
CeeDee Lamb number 1. CeeDee Lamb's number 1. Jamar Chase number 2.
Really?
Number 3.
And then you got Tyreek at 4.
Tyreek's 4. Are you kidding me?
No. Okay.
1 for me, by the way.
Hold on.
Tyreek is 1.
Hold on. Forgot about Tyreek.
Okay.
CeeDee Lamb, Jamar Chase, Tyreek Hill, Justin Jefferson. That's what I think.
I don't hate it.
Yeah.
CeeDee Lamb, Jamar Chase, Tyreek Hill, Justin Jefferson. That we said.
Yep.
Jamar over Tyreek. Oh, I don't know.
Tyreek's getting old, dude.
No, he's not.
I think Jamar's due for a bounce back year. I think Jamar's probably going to finish at it.
Tyreek,
that's tough.
Tyreek talked about retiring last year, dude.
No.
Yes, he did.
He's not. He's not getting any slower. You can stop now.
He might be, because that's how
quarterback.
That's how biology works. He might be getting slower as he gets older.
I haven't seen it yet. Once
he's got a worse quarterback, and he's going to have a healthy Jalen Waddle.
He's also 30 years old. It just takes one ankle injury to ruin somebody's career that's based on speed.
You're right, but I need it to happen before I'm starting to say that, because he's different.
He took me to a championship chance last year. So I know about Tyreek Hill, but I like Jamar Chase. Sorry.
I like Jamar Chase too. I would be very happy with either on my team. I'd rather have Tyreek.
Is there a third wide receiver even in the conversation here? Not really.
Third.
For Cincinnati, I mean.
Jermaine Burton. Yes, there is. Jermaine Burton is going to play the Tyler Boyd role, and I think he's going to do it better than Tyler Boyd.
Where's Higgins going though? I gotta know.
Higgins going like wide receiver 20,
5, 6 round.
25. Yeah. Yeah. 25, wide receiver 25. Let's think about that. So that's 50 running backs and wide receivers, and then a few
Fantasy
tight
Pros
ends.
got him at wide receiver 29 for a half PPR. Puts him at pick 62 ADP.
Going behind George Pickens.
So like second pick of the
Going behind George Pickens.
George Pickens is going to be the one in that offense, dude.
Yeah, this ranking's got Zay Flowers, then Pickens, and then T. Higgins, followed by Tate Dell. That's kind of the range he's in.
Interesting. I like T. Higgins more than both of those names.
I love T. Higgins, man.
I love Tank Dell.
There's too many guys.
Stephon Diggs.
There's too many guys in that offense.
And a lot of guys.
Nico Collins.
A lot of guys. A lot of guys.
But
a lot of guys.
I don't know if I want T. Higgins this year, man. I like T. Higgins. I find it hard to trust him, dude. You know,
give him $22 million. They're gonna give him that fucking ball, dude.
I know, man, but like, there's just been so many times where he just gooses you because he just has one of those games. I don't like that out of the wide receivers.
Yeah, but then he has those games where he makes
a little bit
two of those sideline catches that are in top 10.
He's great.
He's a monster.
He's a monster. I get it, but he's not the one. I want George Pickens more than T. Higgins. I do.
I disagree.
So, well, then you can have T. I'll take George. Anyway, Jermaine Burton should be talked about, though, because he was a high draft pick for them. And
what round?
I think he was first or second. Jake, stat sheet. What do we got? Pretty sure.
Jermaine Burton.
It was him and Ladd McConkey on Georgia last year. And Jermaine Burton caught a lot of touchdowns, been doing it in college for a while. I think he's a talented player. And I think what you saw, they moved Tyler Boyd because Tyler Boyd was falling off in that wide receiver 3 role. And they brought in Burton to play that role. So he's going to be on the field. They love 3 wide receiver sets. He's going to run routes. He's going to get the ball. I think you could throw him in against a weak, like you can play the matchups, and you could throw Burton in there in a flex spot multiple weeks out of this coming year. I think you can do it.
Interesting. So. He was pick 80 overall, so about midway through the 3rd round.
Okay. I was 1 round off. I thought he was like 2nd round, but
also, if you look at the ADP,
he's late. You can get him so late.
He's not on my list.
He's wide receiver 70 in best ball. So
not a bad lottery pick to have with 2 flexes that we're running.
Yep. I think he's a great candidate for that. He's a great guy to have on your bench.
Oh, especially with either Jamar Chase or T. Higgins like losing time.
Okay.
What do you and then don't they have Gesicki now, tight end? If you get somebody hurt and there's a good matchup, maybe you throw Gesicki in there because they like throwing to tight end sometimes in Cincinnati. But you saw Hayden Hurst do the dang thing in Cincinnati sometimes. So, nothing to say Gesicki couldn't do that too. But I don't know how you're going to pick it,
Gesicki, if you want to have success with Gesicki, you got to have the foresight enough to pick him up the week he's going to get 3 touchdowns.
Yep.
And that's it. Because there's going to be a week, maybe 2, where he does that bullshit.
So sometimes how by like week 6 or 7, there's some years. In the one year it was Arizona. There was a couple years back where Arizona was like historically bad against tight ends. Like every tight end that played against them was a tight end one that week. If there's a team like that and you need a tight end, that's the time to play Mike Gesicki. That's what I would say. But
okay.
You don't need, but that's enough about the Gesicki or whatever his name is. I think that's it for Cincinnati.
If you'll allow me to slightly backtrack, because we can use it as a final note for Cincinnati as well. We are still playing with defenses. And I did notice that the Baltimore Ravens defense is the #1 defense on the rated draft pick. So my question to you guys is, what's the earliest round where you're not shitting on somebody for drafting the Baltimore Ravens defense?
12, 13.
Because they're probably going to go. They're realistically going to go in about the 9th round. Do we agree on that? Someone in our league gets a defense
Nine's a little
around that
high.
time every year.
Nine's a little high, but I went right behind a defensive call recently in a draft that ended up being a great move because Dallas's defense was touchdown machines. And so like
It's valid.
there was success in using that pick there.
Because Dallas had like a bye week, like week 5 or something, and at like week 6 or 7, after missing a week, they were still the number 1 defense. That's how dominant they were.
Yeah.
That
We all saw what they did to the Giants at the beginning of last year. So,
well, and then it was just
you know.
Deron Bland, money machine, every week had a pick 6.
Yeah.
And the money man himself's coming back this year too. So
yeah,
they're gonna have it.
yeah, but no Dan Quinn. I mean, I do not. I
Yeah.
don't think that. Oh God, I can't go blanking on his name. But that new defensive coordinator, old head coach from Minnesota, he's a great defensive coordinator. So I think
Zimmer?
they'll be fine.
Mike
Thank
Zimmer?
you. Thank you. I think the defense will be fine because they have players there. But
It ain't no Dan Quinn.
it ain't no Dan Quinn.
Yeah, dude.
That dude
guy's
could draft
special.
corners like
He's special on the
anywhere.
defensive side of the ball. He really is. I don't know, man. I don't know if I want Baltimore first. I might want San Fran over them. To be
Sure,
honest with you.
but the question is, what's the earliest round to grab a defense?
10.
10?
It won't be me, but I guess if you want to do that,
Yeah.
there's still
Like,
guys there.
you have to be the first. You have to get a special one. You
Yeah.
have to hit. It's. There's only going to be one team that does it, and not even like some years there isn't a defense that scores touchdowns like that. But like if you got to hit it if you're gonna make a call like that.
Well,
Yep.
and the problem is there's so much variance in defense. I mean, we all think Baltimore is going to be great. What happens if 2 of them get hurt in week 1 and they're terrible? Like that's the problem with defense.
Yeah.
You know, I don't like burning that.
It is a lottery thing,
you
but
know?
it is something to consider because it's a position that you have to play.
Yeah, I get it. I think you can make it work with defense without
10
spending
is
that
to
big.
answer your question, Jake. 10.
Okay. Thank
Fucking
you.
10.
Damn.
Now, are we taking? Now, this is the real toss-up. Do we think the Steelers have gotten good enough to usurp the 3rd role in this, or do we think the Browns are going to hold
I
it?
mean,
Browns.
I think that out of all the teams, they had the most exciting offseason.
Yeah,
Browns.
I think it's the Browns too. But
The
I would not
Browns
be shocked.
roster. Listen, the Browns roster makes me like because I know because Joe Burrow, you gotta take Cincy too. Cleveland's roster is so good that I think they have a better roster than Cincinnati.
You know what's weird to me?
think so? Sorry, go ahead, Patrick.
It's gonna sound strange coming out of my mouth, but the only reason I could say the Steelers might usurp them for the 3rd spot is I actually have been thinking about it a little bit more. I think Pittsburgh is the perfect place for Arthur Smith. I think he's the perfect guy for that team.
Arthur Smith plus Russell Wilson means
I
they're
know.
gonna win.
Yeah,
That's
so what I'm
telling
saying
me?
is Arthur Smith is the perfect coach for that team because super conservative old man, crappy quarterback, and then a team that wants to pound the rock 90 times a game.
I
I'm outta
appreciate
here.
your buy low philosophy, but I
I'm
feel
outta
like
here.
you're grabbing onto a dying, bankrupt company at this point.
Yeah.
You're making one of those calls that like if it were to work, you would look like really, really smart. But that's because it's such a low odds thing that you're claiming.
Yeah, I think
And that in and of itself means that you're probably wrong.
We talked in an off-season episode about the QB carousel controversy that Pittsburgh is going to be in to start the year. I have no idea which one of those big egos is going to be their starting quarterback. I can't pick that team.
If they didn't have TJ Watt, they'd be 0-4 to start the season.
What do they say when you have 2 starting quarterbacks? You have no starting quarterback.
Yeah,
They say that in football.
They say that.
So, Browns. Let's do it. What do you
Browns.
think of Deshaun Watson? Don't want him. Don't need him.
Don't want him. Don't need him.
Don't want any part of Deshaun Watson.
Nope. No, he won't be on my team.
I don't even want him as a depth piece. He's not even on the roster. Like, oh well, maybe. Nope.
No.
See ya.
Don't want him. Don't need him.
When I see that sticker, I'm actually going to remove it and hide it somewhere so that nobody else can draft him either.
Yeah.
You're going to have to write in Deshaun Watson. You're going to have to go that far to get him.
He got outplayed. he got outplayed by the beef brisket last year. That team
He-
was better with Jacoby
Yeah.
Brissett starting at quarterback.
Yep.
What was his
And-
deal when they paid him? What was that absurd amount that he got? I'm looking it up now.
Something like $250 million.
5
franchise
years,
ending money?
$230 million contract, $45 million signing bonus, $230 million guaranteed.
All of it guaranteed.
Cleveland loves
The best agent. He's the best agent in the world. How do you
rape
You got
30
the
women
best
and got all that money?
assaulting somebody.
has the
That's
best
that's what
agent
that
in
man
the
got.
world?
Yeah, raped 30 women and then gets paid all that money.
Second best. Right behind that
Guaranteed.
baseball.
The whole thing was guaranteed.
Ridiculous.
Like, how do you guarantee someone who's been suspended for a year and a half? How do you like, you know what? This is how we're gonna get him. Guaranteed
And
money
for
no
what he was
matter what.
suspended for. Like, that's wild.
Yeah, Calvin Ridley's cashed
Real
in twice
Cleveland
now.
Brown. That's a
Like,
paper bag.
Like,
move,
you
man.
have to put him on the poster because you're giving him $250 million.
And if he sucks, you're gonna ride that into the ground to make sure you got as much back. You scrape the barrel of that
God, what a
investment.
fucking legacy Cleveland is.
Yeah, just
What
perennially talented and never do it.
What if he just doesn't have it, and then Nick Chubb just can't recover from that last injury, and the Browns win 4 games?
Very possible.
God.
Very possible.
God.
But their
I don't think
do they lose
I don't
some
think it's very
defensive
possible.
people?
Their
Because
defense
their
is amazing.
defense was incredible last
Their
year.
defense is incredible.
They still got Za'Darius, I think. They still got the monster himself on the other side, and Garrett. They got all the corners in the world back there.
Myles
with Daniel
Garrett
Ward.
is like Reggie White good.
He's amazing. One of the best I've ever seen do it. That clip of him going like transdimensional and running around the tackle was one of the most ridiculous things I've ever seen in my life. He like warped to the side. It was crazy. Yeah, I mean their defense is great, but you got to be able to score points to win. You know what I mean? You got to score some points. So, the backfield is the biggest question on their team. Clearly, is Nick Chubb going to be okay? 100%.
Huge question mark.
Yeah.
The answer is Nick Chubb, and then we'll just deal with everything else.
We'll answer for him, but we're talking about like from a fantasy perspective. I think biggest question mark in the backfield. At least that's the way I interpreted it.
I don't think there's any way he's 100% ready by week 1, and so you got to talk about where.
Why not?
Did you see what happened?
He went down in like week 3.
Cole, you never watched the replay, did you?
Yeah, I did.
Dude, he lost his entire knee. It was gone.
And he has a history
of
injuries on that leg. His last major injury was it ACL or Achilles? ACL, right?
Terrible one in college.
Same leg.
Terrible one in the NFL.
Same leg.
Oh, yeah,
That's
I don't. I love Nick Chubb as much as the next guy. I don't think he's going to have. I don't think he's going to have a great year this year. Look at all the guys that have tried to do it. Okay,
Adrian Peterson.
Williams. How did Javonte Williams? Yeah, the one guy. How'd Javonte Williams look last year? Okay, how'd he look?
Javonte Williams is overrated. You've been talking him up for too long.
Had a great rookie season, then he got injured. Anyway,
okay. Well, let's go off his ADP. Do you think it's possible he has a great year based off of being drafted as the running back 34?
He's going super
running
late.
Back 34.
Yeah,
he will be on my team if he's going running back 34.
It's because he's. I mean, you might not get him until halfway through the season.
Pick 101.
My God,
like 8th round, late 8th.
It's 100% possible that for the first 8 weeks of the year, it's Jerome Ford and Donta Foreman on the goal line. 100% possible. I think that's what happens. And the guy I would rather have on that team, if I'm taking any running back on that team, because I don't want any of them.
They took a lot of contingency plans this offseason, man. They still got Jerome Ford, they got Nyheim Hines, and they got Donta Foreman.
Yeah, what's that tell you, Cody? Nick Chubb ain't healthy.
For a month.
Tells me there's a big what if attached to it.
God damn it. I don't want to hear that.
Just look up the reports, man. He ain't going to be ready.
I don't want to stop.
If he is ready, then he's going to. If he is ready, he's not going RB34.
I am so sick of this fucking Nick Chubb disdain, hate.
It's not disdain.
I don't know why you guys. I don't know why you guys want him to fail so bad.
Camp reports
like, what's wrong with you? The man's done nothing but give his all.
We love Nick Chubb. It's just he ain't going to do it this year. He ain't going to do it this year. Do you not remember I had a team named the Rub-a-Dub Chubb Club? Come on now. Let's go, dude.
I do remember that.
I bet it came in 4 plays.
I think he came third that year, but anyway. Yeah, it did because I beat Erica. Anyway, that was the year you two were in that was the foursome, the podcast
Mhm.
foursome.
That was very good.
Mm.
It's good times. But yeah, I want honestly, if I take any of them,
So
Donta Foreman super late because he's going to get the touchdowns early on in the year.
Okay.
let's get out of there. Receivers, let's get out of here. We so much
Let's talk about Amari. I like some Amari.
underrated and underserved.
Picked
Always.
him up.
And he's just so dependable. We gave him
He's
away for a
like-
bag of chips.
he's
And
like the new
he
Mike
is
Evans.
a bad man.
It's a very good comparison. He's like a Mike Evans.
hmm
I was going to get 1,000 yards. I was going to catch 7-8 touchdowns every single year.
No one runs a post like Amari Cooper.
He's a monster, and I don't think I didn't look to me like he lost a step last year. He looked great.
There's no reason to get rid of him. Have him and CeeDee Lamb. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Well, they brought in Jerry Judy to help draw some attention too. I mean, I don't know how effective he's going to be. He's kind of turned into a bust in people's
He's a
eyes.
turd.
He's a big greasy turd.
But
Big
he had
greasy
Russell
turd.
throwing to him for a couple of years, so who knows?
A
I don't
year.
think Deshaun Watson's any better than
Yeah.
Russell Wilson.
Uh,
Maybe slightly,
He's
but
got a
I think they're
cannon.
close. Yeah, but
and
he's
Russell Wilson can't throw the ball 35 yards.
he's inaccurate as hell, and his head is clearly
Yeah,
not where it
and
should
not very good.
be. Yeah. So,
Remember those two like personal fouls he took like back to back when he did play last year?
dude,
Like he was
Just a
grabbing dudes'
bonehead.
face masks.
just an idiot.
That's
Dude.
fucking strange, man.
Yeah. So if you're gonna do that, at least rip it off and hit the guy in the head like Miles.
Oh,
Yeah,
You
like
better
everyone
full
loves
send.
that.
And it was Mason Rudolph. Nobody likes Mason Rudolph.
Where
He'll be
does
half
Amari
a dirtbag.
Where does Amari Cooper get drafted?
He is a very solid wide receiver too for your team. I think. Honestly, I'd like to have him as my third wide receiver. That would be great.
I
Get
think,
two
I
stud
think
wide receivers and then him.
if I've got an
Asking for a
early
lot.
pick, if I got an early pick in the draft, say take a running back, one of those studs like Christian McCaffrey up at the top, and then it comes back around at the turn.
So you say you have the number one pick. Got it.
Yeah,
or
that's what
two,
you're saying.
unless it's me
Yeah.
taking Bijan.
Yeah, you're
But
the
anyway,
last pick of the
not the
second
point.
round if you have
Anyway.
CMC on your team.
Point being that I'd probably take him at that turn for the second and the third round. I think, right? If I got
No, because here's who else you're gonna have there. So if you name all, we know the top 4 wide receivers.
Shit,
And then
Devontae
you're
Adams
talking-
might be up there.
Yeah, Devontae Adams is wide receiver 13. Mike Evans is in the mix. Devonta
Yeah,
Smith,
you're right.
Nico
That's
Collins,
way too
Malik
early.
Neighbors.
Too early.
Yeah. He's in the
Okay.
20s. Coop's in the 20s.
20s for wide receiver.
Yeah.
Okay.
Surely
Like
going
a,
to
like
take
a wide
him.
receiver too on your team. You
Yeah.
feel good about that?
I think I'm all right with that. Again, I'd love if
I'm
I
all
could,
right with that.
if I could do something like if you're talking the situation you had, if you're in the top 6 picks, getting one of those locked and loaded superstars, coming back around, getting one of the hot rookies like Malik Neighbors or somebody like that, and then I put Amari Cooper on my team as the third one, would love that. Love
Oh yeah,
that.
Amari is that first slot / depth piece when bye weeks start rolling around. It would be a great spot to have him.
Yep. That's why I want to do it if I'm getting Amari. I do like Amari. I got him in the offseason for my dynasty squad because I needed some wide receiver depth. Him and Devontae.
There you go.
Good depth.
Yep.
He'll be a star. I don't see a scenario in which he's not starting on with as many flexes as we got down to. I don't see him being on any benches at any time this year.
Yeah, he's the clear one on that team. Jerry
Mm-hmm.
Judy's a distraction. And then you have David Njoku, who
Yeah.
When you got
Is
Elijah Moore
interesting.
too.
whatever. I don't care about it. I don't
Would you
care.
rather have Judy over Elijah?
100%.
Okay.
I don't think Elijah Moore does anything for this team. I
Okay.
really don't. He's the 4th option at best, maybe the 5th. The running back might be a better option, because David Njoku showed last year that he finally put it together. We always knew he was an athletic freak, and then he had that
Mhm.
period. I mean, he took Jacoby right to the championship with what he was doing at the back half of last year. He was going nuts, especially with Flacco. Flacco loved him.
Yep.
He really did.
And so the thing is, though, it's Deshaun Watson now. Deshaun Watson likes wide receivers. So I don't know, man. We'll
Well,
see.
Deshaun Watson has a cannon.
He does. And well, do you remember him throwing to the tight end at all when he was in Houston? No. It was DeAndre
No,
Hopkins and blazing fast Fuller. I couldn't remember his name, so I was using
Will
to.
Fuller.
Yeah.
The fifth
Yeah. Fun
or
times when
fourth.
Will Fuller was in the game.
It's true.
That man was so fast.
We call him Deep
Um,
Fuller.
Yeah. Doesn't have the same ring as Deep JMO.
Doesn't. Do you
Deep
think?
JMO,
Man,
Deep
I can't
JMO
wait.
sounds like a porn name.
I can't wait till we're talking about the AFC or the NFC North because I think it's coming. I think Deep J-Mo's on the way.
I think so too. I think Deep JMO is gonna be a thing this year.
Mm-hmm.
But they need another thing in that offense, and that's what they need is a deep threat. But does that do it for the Browns?
It
I think
does.
the Browns top 5 defense again this year, though.
Oh, okay. How about this?
Yep.
Where do you draft David Njoku?
He's the 10th for me.
The
8
Yeah,
through 10. 8
I
through
don't know
10.
that I'm drafting him at all, but if I do, it's probably the late 9th or 10th
Okay.
round.
Okay.
Well, because here's the thing. Right now, George Kittle is like the tight end 7.
Wild.
He's
Yeah.
one of those guys in like the 6th or 7th round when I can start looking at tight end comfortably. And I'm like, oh, is this guy? But the drop off to Njoku is not that big, and I can get him 3 rounds later, maybe. You know,
George Kittle is a more talented tight end than David Njoku to me. Problem is where he plays and who plays around him. Because it's Christian
And he's too good a
McCaffrey.
Exactly.
Exactly. That's why.
God
George
damn it.
Kittle's George Kittle's
Get
going
worse
in.
at blocking, George. I want to see you shine.
Best
George is
blocking
going a
tight end.
full 2 rounds ahead of Njoku. They're side by side, but they're going 2 rounds apart in the ADP.
I think the more interesting question is, do you want either Jake Ferguson or Evan Ingram more than David Njoku? Because those are the other 2 guys that are right
Ingram, yes. Ferguson's a coin toss for me.
I don't really want
have
any.
Evan Ingram.
I think I want Njoku before both of them.
I wouldn't dispute you if you did that. I think
Yeah.
I don't want any part of Jake Ferguson, honestly.
I do like Jake Ferguson. I don't like Evan Ingram.
I've seen enough weeks where Njoku doesn't do a freaking thing, man. He's a clear tier drop off for me from the other 2 guys.
It all depends on what Deshaun Watson wants to do, is the thing. And in the past, he doesn't do a lot of tight ends, man, and it sucks because he's really good.
Well,
To
and
me-
Ingram's got the Easter Island himself throwing to him. Big old nose, Trevor Lawrence.
To me, nice. I like it. To me,
Really
in
fun.
tight end land, we actually have depth at the tight end position for once this year. You have 10 guys who you could easily use on any given week. To me, the tiers are you have your 3 elite guys, which again I think are, and you could say 4: McBride, Laporta, Kelsey, Andrews. Then you got Dalton Kincaid and Kyle Pitts. Then you got George Kittle, and then you got another tier with Ingram, Ferguson, and Njoku. That's how I think it works.
Okay.
You got 4 at the top, couple in the middle, and then you got.
So, I think you got a 1A with Laporta and Kelsey. You got a 1B with Andrews and McBride, and then I think it's on to the second tier after that.
That's why I love Dalton Kincaid so much. You can get him cheap. I think he's going to be almost as good as the top tier. I think Kincaid's going to have a big year.
Yeah, no Diggs there. I think it's going to probably affect that a whole lot.
No Diggs or Davis. And Josh Allen already showed that he had a connection with him last year. So I like
And
it.
there was a ton of hype just coming into his rookie year too. He's been expected to be great for a while.
Yeah. I mean, they wanted him badly. Like that was the thing in Buffalo. That GM wanted him so bad. And they showed that they were going to use him. They used him last year. So I don't know, man. I like me some Dalton Kincaid. But anyway, should we move on to the Steelers?
Yeah, and
Right.
let's keep it short because the Steelers fucking suck.
There's a few interesting guys.
This is a,
I don't think you want
podcast
either-
about Pittsburgh hate.
ADP on their quarterbacks, because we're starting at the top, right? Top position. Justin Fields and Russell Wilson are back-to-back QBs 28 and 29 because nobody knows who's going to be.
So how do you
Start
draft
out.
either one? You don't. Pick them up
You
off
draft
the
them both, and you hope if you're going to draft them at all, you draft them both, which is why you don't draft them at all.
Spent
Please-
2 picks on it.
Please
Fucking
God.
hell.
Please God, for the sanctity of our
You know
league,
what?
don't do
If
that.
you draft Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. I say we allow it as a 1-round pick.
Absolutely not. And also, I
Hell
think
no.
grounds to kick you out of the league if you do that. Do
I
not
say,
do that. God,
I say, go ahead.
What
for
if
the
it's
love
your
of God.
13th and 14th picks, and one of them just gets dropped by week 2 anyway?
I mean, whatever, I guess. If it's your last 2 picks, but your last 2 picks are better spent on backup running backs who are going to play and not bench quarterbacks who one of them is going to be at some point in the season.
For a team
Like,
that's trying to fight for 3rd place in their division.
just get Baker Mayfield.
Fight
Call it
for
a
it.
day, dude. Like, don't take these guys. Like, what are we doing? So, yeah, man.
So they're probably not going to end up on any teams. I mean,
Yeah.
somebody will take a flyer on Fields because of what he can do with his legs, right? But I don't think Russell gets drafted.
Don't draft him when you see the turn
Don't
coming.
draft him.
When you see the turn coming, Russell Wilson's sucking. They're 0-3, and you
Yeah.
know Fields is coming. Get him on the waivers. Don't draft him. Okay,
It's true. It's true.
But because if somebody does draft him, they're dropping him after the 3rd week that he's not playing, and then you
Yep.
just get him then. So the more interesting thing to me is what is going on with his backfield, because you got 2 Najee Harris reportedly dropped weight to get quicker, like a good amount of weight, 15 pounds, I think, has been the story of the offseason. He's in
That's a great sign.
here. Yeah, I think so too. I'm kind of happy about that, because if he gets even a little bit quicker, he's gonna be more productive.
He's not gonna.
If he drops 15 pounds, he'll be quicker. There's no way physically he can't be.
I think
the trainer for the
he's an
Pittsburgh
early.
Steeler
I think it's
said-
one of those early running back careers. I think Najee Harris is already over.
I think so.
They had a terrible
Najee Harris is
offensive
already
line
over.
last year. Terrible offensive line last year.
I think the addition of Arthur Smith does not make that better.
He made Algier a thing, and Algier is not better than Najee Harris in my mind.
Didn't make it much of a thing.
Is it a contract year for Harris?
It is.
Because his trainer for the team is quoted saying he's been, it's kind of vague wording, but almost obsessively clean with his diet. So maybe there's a fire been lit under that man's ass because he knows what Cody's saying is true. If he doesn't produce something this year, there will be no doubt that
the lights are out.
done.
He'll be a depth piece for the rest of his career if he doesn't.
Yep.
So,
And that's
I think he's
enough for
currently a
some
depth
people.
piece.
he's a starting running back still, Cody.
Would you draft Jalen Warren ahead of him, Cody?
Yep.
Do you think he's that done?
Yeah.
I love Jalen Warren. You gotta take Najee first. Volume is king at the running back position. Najee's gonna get it.
I'm watching, dude. It was the same as like seeing when Tony Pollard had it. You're like, all right, well,
Tony Pollard was still an RB2 last year. It was an ugly RB2, but he was.
like Tony Pollard, he's also done. Like, I'm not worried about it. I'm just saying, like, when he was behind Zeke and everyone knew, like, I know who the starting running back is, but like, it's 20 now, right? Like, let's go. Same thing, Warren to Harris.
It's exactly the same thing. I get it. But did Zeke still not score a lot of touchdowns that year and still be productive? Yes, he did.
Did he finish behind Tony Pollard in fantasy points? Yeah, he did.
He did. Yeah. So, I mean, all I'm saying is.
So, what are we talking about here, dog?
I
the next season, not the last one.
I think Najee could have a productive year is what I'm trying to say. I don't blame you if you want to take Jalen Warren before him because they're very close. They're very close.
Is Najee, where do you got him? It's RB2, mid RB2.
Najee right now in best ball is the RB20. Jalen Warren is 24, I think.
Do you
so
think he has RB1 upside? Are you that high on his potential?
Well, you're bringing in Arthur Smith to run the freaking ball. So if Najee all of a sudden is healthy and they do have a better offensive line, Cody, they do. They invested in it.
Do you think he has RB1 potential?
No.
Fringe? No?
No. His ceiling is like RB15. That's the best he can do. That's if he has like a great year. You know? So Jalen Warren is the guy who can blow the roof off because he's got.
You were a betting man.
Because he's probably going to have Russell Wilson making bonehead passes and just turning the ball over left and right.
Yeah, well, like what? Like there's gonna be 8 men in the box all day. Russell Wilson can't throw the ball 40 yards, and the other option is Justin Fields, who can't throw the ball accurately. So 8 men are going to be in the box all day long.
Okay. However, that's why I love George Pickens because that man's great. You don't have to be accurate. Throw George Pickens.
This is why they're going to get 4th.
Okay, I don't care, man. If you throw the ball to George Pickens 10 times, he's coming down with 5 of them, and they're going to be 30 yards down the field every time because that's what
Because
George
that's
Pickens.
as far as they can go.
Who cares? That man
Yeah.
is one of the best contested catch guys in the league right now.
But Pickens is, yeah, I've seen some clips just from this.
He's got some
It's been
highlights.
nasty.
Yeah,
but
He's got some highlights.
is he the only only wide receiver that's rosterable on this team?
Roman Wilson, late. You could pick up a Roman Wilson. You know, he had a great college career at Michigan. You could pick him up like last round. But there's other guys I'd rather have. I like some Luke McCaffrey out there in Washington with Jaden Daniels more than I like Roman Wilson. So there's other guys, but you could do that. George Pickens is the only one I want, and I think you could have George Pickens. I view him the same as I view Amari Cooper. They're right next to each other. You get him as your third, you're going to be real happy. That's what I think.
Okay.
Fryermuth
Ugh.
he's the sleeper on this team, boys. Russell Wilson loves his tight ends. Fryermuth is a good tight end when he's healthy.
He is.
They threw the ball to the tight end a shit ton in Atlanta. It just wasn't Kyle Pitts for whatever reason.
Is Fryermuth draftable though, or is he waiver fodder?
Waiver fodder.
Don't draft him. But if you need a tight end, I think you can use Fryermuth and he'll be serviceable most weeks.
Okay.
I do. I don't think he's going to goose you.
It's a great option for a quarterback. He can't throw the ball 26 yards.
Yeah. I'm just saying, man. Fryermuth, I think, is a good tight end. He's had a lot of injuries already in his career. But I think in the system he's going to play in this year and the other weapons around him, which are not many, he's going to get used. He's going to get targets.
Just make your last 3 picks Fryermuth, Russell Wilson, and Justin Fields.
Go
you're
all
guaranteed
Pittsburgh.
to get that stack. You'll be great.
Dude, you'll go nuts. You'll get 5 points a week. It'll be great. Yeah, man. That was a fun division to talk about.
It was.
Pretty good.
Now, who are we talking about next week? Should we go south? Should we fly south? Get on the CJ Stroud train? Huh?
Yeah, because we can talk about Trevor too, and the highest paid quarterback in the league.
Okay.
Indianapolis Colts, the AR show.
The Anthony Richardson Express.
Todd named his team the AR show because he has Aaron Rodgers and Anthony Richardson. Great name.
And because he likes guns.
Yeah, it's a great name. His team got absolutely just destroyed by injuries last year. He had Nick Chubb and Anthony Richardson. He lost them both right away.
What's Anthony Richardson's number? Is he 5?
He's 5.
He should be 15.
What?
I mean, just
AR-15.
Yeah, like he's got a gun. Like it's just too good.
Have you seen the highlights of him throwing in this offseason? It's ridiculous.
They're great.
The ball jumps out of his hand.
He's got a cannon.
He's got one of the most ridiculous arms I've seen since Mike Vick, when Mike Vick was young.
Anthony Richardson was number 15.
They sling the same, like just huge.
There is a reason why Michael Vick had the commercial where he threw the ball out of the stadium because that man throw it that way too.
Man,
I wonder if there was a conversation because he was number 15 at Florida.
It's probably an image thing. The NFL
gotta be right.
Yeah, it's too good though. It's too good.
The NFL doesn't want to directly jump across that. They're already in bed with the NRA, but they don't want you to know about it.
Yeah, they don't want that. They don't need that. They don't need your eyeballs.
They don't need that. They don't need that. They don't need that.
Yeah,
they don't need you to read those reports.
No, but
damn, they're gonna get this podcast.
Yeah. They're gonna come for us.
Yeah,
you guys licensed? Remember that thing we play before the game every time. So yeah, boys, maybe we talk about AFC South next week. That's a fun one too. Colts, Texans, Jags, and the Will Levis Titans, folks. Titans gonna be bad. Anyway,
Jake, did you just mute yourself to fart?